We had a presidential interview at the halftime. Again, I know it's not everybody's highlight, but it's important. It's something we do. It's part of tradition. And the fact that Joe Biden couldn't and or wouldn't do this to maintain this long-held tradition was disgraceful. We knew it was because he wasn't all there. He's still not all there. That's why Trump just stripped him, that plus fair game, because it was done to Trump, of his security clearance, saying even the special counsel Robert Hur said, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory, why would we be giving this guy top secret classified documents access? But in any event, Trump gave the interview to Bret Baier. He did great. It was a snappy 7-minute piece of a longer interview that Bret's airing tonight, and we'll have highlights of it tomorrow. But that was number one. The president, for the first time, showed up, was robust, was having a great time, was glad-handing with everybody, a moment for the country to celebrate our shared leadership, and wasn't too infirm to sit down and go mano a mano with Bret Baier. Let's start there.
Yeah, well, you brought back an old tradition. You mentioned the Super Bowl halftime one that Joe Biden sat out. Now, he didn't know he was sitting out. We think they took him to a Little League football game and told him it was the Super Bowl, and he thought he probably did one. But maybe starting a new tradition where the sitting president goes to the Super Bowl. Yeah. What is more American than that? What is more American than that entrance that Donald Trump had, shaking hands with the players there before the game? And then we talk about juxtaposition. You talk about Taylor Swift sitting on one side and Donald Trump sitting on the other. How about the juxtaposition of the president not only doing the interview, but looking unbelievably cognizant and going at warp speed in the first couple of weeks of his administration? That, to me, was the worst look for the Democrats. Donald Trump was cognizant. He was aware. He was snappy. He was serious. Could also be light. Just totally different than what Joe Biden.
Well, I mean, let's talk about what he did before this, before he even got to the Super Bowl. He was playing golf with Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
Something.
That's a win by itself.
Is this the coolest day ever?
Yeah.
Like, as a person, you go play
He's
golf
living
with
his best
Tiger Woods
life.
and his
For sure.
and his son, then you go to the Super Bowl and just absolutely kill an interview?
Well, in many ways, I felt like,
100%.
okay, we are back to my childhood. A sitting president gets a standing ovation, regardless of political party. That's awesome. The game was a blowout, like most of them in my childhood were. A couple of the commercials were funny because I had to sit through several years here where I didn't laugh at a single commercial. At least a couple of them were funny.
Because they were all telling you were evil because you're a white man.
Yeah, bad.
100%.
White man, bad.
And some of these were very funny. But on the flip side of that, also, we still have a black national anthem, which I can't believe we even have to make that statement that we've splintered so badly. We have to have a completely separate national anthem. And we had what, in my opinion, was a completely out-of-touch halftime performance. Regardless if you think Kendrick Lamar, this rapper, is talented or is a great lyricist or whatever, the national appeal to me doesn't justify him performing at the Super Bowl. It's the largest American event. So I do
want to talk about that. I mean, I appreciated that there seemed to be somewhat, there was red, white, and blue. I was like, okay, is he a patriot? I can't tell. Then there's online people speculating that no, there was actually, it was like somehow a middle finger to America with Sam Jackson. I don't totally understand the theories. I saw red, white, and blue and I liked it, but I didn't understand a word he said. I didn't understand his messaging. Apparently he sung the one song that was, or he sang the one song that is like his big rip on Drake. So that's like a personal thing. We have some of it. Okay, let's watch.
I'ma do my stuff. Why you trolling like ain't you tired? Trying to strike a chord and it's probably A minor.
He's suggesting Drake is a pedophile here.
They not like us. No.
Struck the chord is probably A minor.
What?
There's Serena. Serena Williams made a...
They not like us. No. They not like us.
Yeah.
A cameo is the ex-girlfriend of Drake. By the way, no evidence that Drake is a pedophile whatsoever. This is some sort of internet thing that Kendrick Lamar put into a song. They don't like each other. I guess he was like sort of a protege of Drake's, but then they broke up and they don't like each other. But that's a little small ball for the Super Bowl. And you looked around during the performance, nobody was even paying attention. Everybody's on their phone. It wasn't like, it was far from like a Michael Jackson where it's like, oh my God, right? Everybody in the stadium's riveted. It was like, okay.
Well, I mean, Megyn, you bring up the small ball comment, and I think you're right. I think something that would have been cooler is if he'd have brought Drake out during that, and they would have squashed the beef, and it would have been like a unifying thing, and everybody would have got behind it. I think that'd have been a much more lucrative way to go about it. Now, all of a sudden, next week, y'all are dropping a remix to a song together that goes to #1 in the charts because you just did it at the Super Bowl. But it's this childish thing, and look, we know people do this in music. They beef with each other and this, that, and the other. But as far as deciding to put him as the halftime show and David has 3 great solutions to fixing the Super Bowl halftime, which I'm sure he's going to tell you here in a minute. But if I can't understand the words that you're saying, and when I listen to Money Trees by Kendrick Lamar and some of the other songs he does that I like, I can 100% understand what he's saying. But he might as well have been speaking North Korean to me. That's why after the first 3 minutes, I couldn't understand. I can't go along with something. You know, it was verbal braille. That's what it was. That's I had no idea what he was saying.
Like Ben Shapiro at the Daily Wire, he tweeted out something like, it's a beautiful voice and a beautiful accent, but to be perfectly honest, I can't understand a word you're saying. Live in peace. The exact thing that Trump said to that Afghanistan journalist last week.
Well, he sounds like Joe Biden when he was on the debate stage. I had no idea. And what's the Serena Williams like? Isn't she? You're married to a white guy singing a song called "They're Not Like Us."
Yeah.
What are you doing? And if I'm Serena Williams' husband, you're gone.
Yeah, you're going back and dancing with for your ex.
You're gone. Bye bye.
No.
There's,
And by the way,
didn't
her husband, who was the CEO of Reddit, give up his position voluntarily to somebody who's not white? It was during the post-George Floyd-a-Palooza mania, where he was like, I'm too white. I'm going to give up. My team's going to check me on this, but I distinctly remember this story where he ceded his role for being a white guy. So it's like, all right, whatever. I don't know why she was there. But here was, because I know you were asking each other on your show, what did the ladies of The View think of it? Well, I've got your answer. Here's what they thought.
I did ask you that.
Where they went in response to the halftime show.
I think today Donald Trump is going to sign an executive order banning black people from halftime. Because you remember last week we were talking about whether the NFL was capitulating to Trump by removing the term end racism from the end zone. Yeah. Boy, did they not capitulate to Trump. When I saw Samuel L. Jackson dressed as a black Uncle Sam introducing Kendrick Lamar, who then had like an entire formation of all black people making a U.S. flag, and all the racists who somehow get in, man, were they hopping mad. So if the racists are mad, I am happy as a clam.
It was so nice to see black excellence and joy in front of the sitting president who decided for the first time to go to the Super Bowl.
Man.
Trump is upset because there were black people performing there. That's their message.
The accusations of racism don't land for me when, one, you just brought up Michael Jackson's performance, all-time great, and two, Prince singing Purple Rain in the Rain is one of the greatest halftime, one of the greatest concert performances that you will ever see. But I have 3 solutions to fix the halftime show, Megyn. One, just let Chris Stapleton do it every single year. If you already love him, you're happy. If you don't already love him, congratulations, you're about to fall in love. And we don't need any theatrics. We don't need to run a stage out there. We don't even need backup singers or a guitar. Just let him go sing Broken Halos a cappella, and that'll solve it. Or Lainey Wilson, for that matter. 2, we have the technology now where everyone could just pick the musical artist they want. Let's have 5 different ones representing the major genres of music across the country. If you want to listen to the hip-hop one, you click that. If you want to listen to the rock one, you click that. Let Elon Musk come up with the details. I'm just the idea guy. Or 3, we just get rid of it completely because high-level athletes running into each other for 3 hours should be entertaining enough.
I'm not sure those are going to work, but I have to say I don't understand how we make it racial. It's like maybe you like the songs, maybe you didn't, but because it was all black people out there, that's a fuck you to Trump. That's an in your face, and Trump must have been very upset at seeing black joy. Has there been a Republican president in modern history who has done more to reach out to black Americans, black voters, or who's gotten a greater proportion of them, only to have their side call all those people Uncle Toms? Whenever a black Republican succeeds in America, they call the man or the woman an Uncle Tom, as if they're some sort of a race traitor. And yet Ana Navarro, who, by the way, you're not black, has decided to appoint herself like defender-in-chief of black people. She speaks for them all. I don't think so.
Yeah. Megyn, can we just for a second, just about The View? Because what would have happened, and I'm going to try and, obviously watch my words here. I think if we wanted to get answers from terrorists faster, we wouldn't have to waterboard them. We wouldn't have to torture them. The form of torture we should actually use is to strap them to a chair and just play 24 hours straight of The View on a loop. I think you would get answers to where all the terrorists are. I think Hamas would be done in 3 weeks if we would just do that to a couple of them. They tell us where everything is.
I'd break like that.
Yeah. And
broke out in a cold sweat.
We continue to face uncertainty when it comes to the economy with a perfect storm brewing as Social Security and Medicare hit a breaking point as the largest generation is hitting retirement. A smaller workforce means a smaller tax base. You pair that with our growing national debt and our rising cost of living, and we could have a very big problem on our hands. So what are you doing now to protect your family for the future? Are you diversifying? Gold can be very useful to you in this. It can be a safe haven in hard economic times. And Birch Gold has a super great reputation, and they will make it very easy to diversify a portion of your savings, if you so choose, into physical gold. Birch Gold will help you transition an existing IRA or 401k in whole or in part into an IRA in gold, and it will not cost you 1 cent out of pocket. Protect your future today. Text MK to 989898 and get your free info kit on gold and a copy of The Ultimate Guide for Gold in the Trump Era with a foreword by Donald Trump Jr. There's no obligation, just information. Birch Gold has earned the trust of countless Americans looking to safeguard their savings. You just text my initials, MK, to the number 989898 today. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.